The great hall of the Galactic Council shimmered with the combined light of 1,000 stars, its ancient walls witnessing the most significant gathering in recent cosmic history. High Counselor Nexus, his crystalline form pulsing with grave purpose, stood before the assembled representatives of 500 spacefaring civilizations. "We gather today," his thoughts resonated through the chamber, "to codify the most sacred law our universe has ever known." The massive holographic displays showed scenes from across the galaxy, unexplained disappearances of entire civilizations, mysterious cosmic events, and the complete erasure of species who had committed one specific transgression. Supreme Justice. Vextal, her serpentine form coiled around the speaker's podium, activated the historical archives. "For 10,000 cycles we have observed a pattern. Any species that brings harm to human children ceases to exist, not through war, not through punishment, but through the universe itself." The chamber erupted in murmurs as footage played of the recent Crixian incident. The Crixians, once a mighty empire spanning 3 spiral arms, had attempted to harvest human children for their supposed psychic abilities. Within days, their entire civilization had simply vanished. Stars still shone where their worlds had been, but every trace of their existence had been erased. "This is not coincidence," High Counselor Nexus continued. "This is not random chance. This is fundamental law, not of our making but of the cosmos itself." His form shifted to deep blue, indicating absolute certainty. "Today, we do not create this law. We merely acknowledge what the universe has already decreed." First Speaker Ron, representing the militant Draconian Empire, rose from his seat. "And what of research? Of scientific advancement? Humans are newcomers to the galactic stage. Their children possess qualities unlike any species we've encountered." "That is precisely why we must protect them," came a new voice. All eyes turned to Oracle Tatha, the ancient being whose species had achieved transcendence eons ago. Her rare appearance sent ripples of shock through the assembly. Human children carry something within them, something the universe itself considers sacred. "We do not yet understand it, but we have seen the price of ignorance." The holographic displays shifted to show the remnants of the Maldorian research facility. They had captured 3 human children for study. Within hours, their entire species had begun to fade from reality. Their last transmission, played now before the Council, showed their bodies becoming transparent as space itself rejected their existence. "We will establish an enforcement division," High Counselor Nexus declared, "not to punish violators, and the universe handles that, but to prevent species from inadvertently triggering their own extinction. This is not about politics or power. This is about survival." The vote was unanimous, a rarity in Council history. As the law was formally recorded, strange patterns of energy rippled through the chamber, as if the universe itself was acknowledging the decree. The Galactic Council's most sacred law was now official: never harm a human child. But even as the Council celebrated this historic moment, deep in the shadows of unexplored space, forces were gathering. Some species refused to accept that humans, especially their young, could hold such significance. They would test this law, probe its limits, seek loopholes, not understanding that they were playing with forces beyond their comprehension. In her private chambers, Oracle Tatha gazed into the quantum realm, witnessing patterns that only her kind could perceive. "They don't understand," she whispered to the void. "Human children are not just protected by law, they are protected by the fundamental forces that shape reality itself. And we are about to discover why." Through the great windows of the Council chamber, the galactic core pulsed with unusual energy, as if responding to the law's ratification. A new era had begun, one that would test not just the Council's resolve, but the very fabric of space-time itself. The most sacred law had been written, but its true purpose, and the reason behind the universe's protection of human children, remained a mystery that would shake. The quantum alarms pierced through the Council's emergency chambers with an urgency not heard in decades. High Counselor Nexus materialized instantly, his crystalline form flickering between deep red and pulsing orange, colors of extreme distress. Before him, the holographic displays showed something unprecedented, a coordinated violation of the sacred law. "Report," he commanded, his thoughts echoing with barely contained fury. General Carvon of the Enforcement Division stepped forward, his metallic exoskeleton reflecting the emergency lights. "The Syndicate has revealed itself, High Counselor. 7 simultaneous attacks on human colonies. He paused, his mechanical voice crackling with disgust. "They're targeting education centers." The displays showed real-time footage from across the galaxy. The Syndicate, a shadow alliance of species who rejected the Council's authority, had launched a calculated assault. Their ships, bearing technology from multiple civilizations, surrounded human settlements on frontier worlds. How many children? Oracle Tatha appeared without warning, her ancient form seeming to phase between dimensions. 326, General Carvon answered. "They're using some kind of temporal stasis field. The children are trapped, but technically unharmed, for now." "They're testing the boundaries," First Speaker Ron growled, his draconian scales bristling. "Seeing how far they can go before triggering universal consequences." The chamber's atmosphere grew heavy with tension, as footage showed Syndicate forces establishing research facilities around the captured education centers. Their ships maintained careful formation, never directly threatening the children but keeping them imprisoned in sophisticated containment fields. "They believe they've found a loophole," Oracle Tatha observed, her voice carrying millennia of wisdom. "By not directly harming the children, they think they can avoid cosmic retribution while studying the protective force itself." "High Counselor." Nexus expanded his form, embracing the full spectrum of light. "Deploy the fleet, all of it." But before the order could be carried out, something extraordinary began to happen. The space around the Syndicate facilities started to twist. Not violently, not catastrophically, but with an almost gentle certainty. The containment fields, designed with the most advanced technology from a dozen species, simply ceased to exist. "By the eternal void," General Carvon whispered. "Look at the quantum readings. The universe itself seemed to be rearranging its fundamental laws around the captured children. Gravity, electromagnetic forces, even the strong nuclear force, all of them shifted in ways that should have torn reality apart. Instead, they moved with surgical precision, dismantling the Syndicate's technology atom by atom. "This is new," Oracle Tatha said, her form becoming more solid as she focused on the events. "The universe isn't just protecting the children, it's evolving its response." The Syndicate forces found themselves trapped in temporal bubbles, their ships frozen in time but their consciousness remaining aware. Through their communications, now intercepted by Council forces, came voices filled with terror and awe. "We're receiving a transmission," General Carvon announced. "From within the temporal distortions. Audio only." A chorus of voices echoed through the chamber, speaking in unison. "We understand now. The children, they're not just protected. They're connected to something vast, something that exists beyond time itself. We can see it now, in this frozen moment. The universe isn't just protecting them, they're protecting the universe." Before anyone could respond, the temporal bubbles began to collapse. But unlike previous violations of the sacred law, the Syndicate forces weren't simply erased from existence. Instead, their ships, their technology, and their very beings were transformed. Where once there were weapons and containment fields, now stood monuments of crystalline energy, each telling the story of what had transpired. "A warning," Oracle Tatha explained, moving to examine the quantum structures. "The universe is becoming more deliberate in its responses. This isn't just protection anymore, it's education." High Counselor Nexus approached one of the crystalline monuments, his own form resonating with its structure. "The children have all been returned to their families," he announced. "But these monuments, they're generating some kind of field, a protective barrier around human settlements." "Not just protective," Oracle Tatha corrected. "Look deeper. These fields are awakening something in the children. Their natural abilities are being enhanced, but not in ways we can measure or understand. First speaker Ron, who had been analyzing the data, suddenly straightened. The syndicate leaders who orchestrated this, they're gone. Not erased like previous violators, but ascended. The universe didn't punish them. It forced them to evolve until they understood. The council chamber fell silent as the implications became clear. The sacred law wasn't just a rule to be enforced. It was part of the universe's own evolutionary plan. Human children weren't simply being protected. They were being preserved for some greater purpose that even the most advanced civilizations could barely comprehend. Call an emergency session, High Counselor Nexus commanded. All species, all representatives. The sacred law must be updated. We're not just preventing harm anymore. We're witnessing the next phase of cosmic evolution. As the call went out, across the galaxy, Oracle Tatha gazed into the quantum realm once more. In the patterns of reality itself, she could see something stirring. The universe wasn't just protecting human children, it was preparing them. The question that echoed through the council chamber, unspoken but felt by all, was simple yet terrifying. Preparing them for what? The ancient archives beneath the Galactic Council headquarters pulsed with ethereal light as Oracle Tatha traced patterns in the quantum foam that shouldn't exist. Around her, holographic displays showed thousands of children across human colonies simultaneously experiencing the same dream, a vision of the cosmos unlike anything ever recorded. You've seen something, High Counselor Nexus stated. His crystalline form dimmed to match the archive's solemn atmosphere. The children are changing, Oracle Tatha replied, her ageless voice carrying notes of both wonder and concern. The Syndicate's attack triggered something, a dormant potential awakening across the entire human species. The displays showed brainwave patterns from human children across the galaxy, all synchronized in perfect harmony with the universe's background radiation. What had started as isolated incidents following the Syndicate's failed experiment had become a galaxy-wide phenomenon. General Carvon entered the chamber, his exoskeleton now upgraded with quantum sensors specifically calibrated to monitor these new energy patterns. The protective fields around human settlements are expanding. They're not just defensive anymore, they're teaching. Before their eyes, a young human child on a colony world reached out and touched one of the crystalline monuments left behind after the Syndicate's transformation. The structure responded, revealing patterns of light that spoke of cosmic secrets. The child understood perfectly, while the most advanced council scientists could only watch in confusion. It was never about protection, Oracle Tatha whispered, her form shifting as ancient memories surfaced. The universe wasn't protecting them from us. It was protecting them for us. For everything. The chamber's quantum archive suddenly activated without command, projecting images of events so old they predated the council itself. They showed a civilization that existed eons ago. The predecessors, beings of pure energy who had achieved what countless species had dreamed of, true harmony with the cosmic fabric of reality. The predecessors didn't vanish, Oracle Tatha explained, reading the ancient data. They seeded themselves into the universe itself, becoming one with space and time. But they needed anchors, points of connection between conventional reality and the quantum realm. They chose humanity's children. High Counselor Nexus absorbed this revelation, his crystalline structure resonating with newfound understanding. The predecessors became the force that protects human children. But why humans? Why children? A new presence filled the chamber. First speaker Ron but changed. His draconian form now shimmered with an inner light that hadn't been there before. Because, he said, his voice carrying strange harmonics, human children can do what no other species can. They can dream new realities into existence. The displays showed what the Council's finest minds had missed for centuries. When human children dreamed, their consciousness touched the quantum fabric of space itself. Their imagination, unbounded by adult preconceptions of what was possible, could reshape reality at its most fundamental level. The Syndicate's attack forced the predecessors to accelerate their plan. Oracle Tatha continued. What should have taken millennia is happening. Now, the children are becoming conscious of their true nature. As if in response to her words, alarms blared throughout the council complex. The quantum sensors were detecting massive energy shifts across human space. Children everywhere were beginning to consciously access their abilities, guided by the transformed Syndicate monuments. General Carvon's sensors went wild. The protective fields, they're not just teaching the children, they're teaching the universe itself. Reality is becoming more malleable around human settlements. A young girl's voice echoed through the chamber, transmitted from a colony world thousands of light years away. We can see them now. The ones who became the stars. They're showing us how to dream bigger. High Counselor Nexus watched as reality rippled around human worlds. Space and time bent not with violence or destruction, but with a gentle creativity that defied physical laws while somehow maintaining universal harmony. This changes everything. The sacred law wasn't just about prevention, it was preparation. But not everyone will accept this truth, First Speaker Ron warned, his new enlightenment showing him possibilities both wonderful and terrible. There are those who will see this power as a threat, who will try to stop what's coming. Oracle. Tatha moved to the center of the chamber, her form now pulsing with urgent purpose. They're already moving. The Void Collective, species so ancient they remember the predecessor's ascension. They believe that if human children can reshape reality, they pose a threat to existence itself. The displays showed massive void, ships emerging from the darkness between galaxies, ancient civilizations that had hidden themselves away eons ago, now returning to prevent what they saw as the unraveling of reality itself. We built the council to enforce the sacred law, High Counselor Nexus declared, his form blazing with determination. Now we must defend not just the children, but the very future of cosmic evolution itself. As the council prepared for the greatest crisis in its history, human children across the galaxy continued to dream. Each dream reshaped reality in subtle ways, guided by the ancient consciousness of the predecessors. The universe itself seemed to hold its breath, waiting to see what new form of existence would emerge from the imagination of beings who had never learned it was impossible to rewrite the rules of reality. The sacred law had served its purpose, not just protecting humanity's children, but preserving their unique ability to dream new universes into being. Now, as ancient forces gathered to prevent cosmic evolution itself, the true meaning of that law would be tested in ways no one could have imagined. The void ships emerged like ancient leviathans from the dark space between galaxies, their surfaces absorbing light itself. Each vessel was the size of a small moon, constructed from technology so advanced it bordered on supernatural. The Void Collective had come to stop what they saw as the unraveling of reality, the awakening of human children's ability to reshape the cosmos. High Counselor Nexus stood at the center of the Council's Emergency Command Center, his crystalline form pulsing with frequencies that reflected the gravity of the situation. How many? 3,000 void ships, General Carvon reported, his enhanced exoskeleton struggling to process the readings. They're positioning themselves around every major human settlement. Their weapons. He paused, recalibrating his sensors. They don't just destroy matter. They erase possibility itself. Oracle Tatha materialized beside them, her ancient form, now constantly shifting between dimensions. The Void Collective fears what they don't understand. They believe stability is the highest virtue, that change itself is the enemy. The massive displays showed the void ships deploying what looked like sheets of absolute darkness around human worlds. These weren't mere blockades. They were attempting to isolate human children from the quantum fabric of reality itself. They're trying to separate the children from the predecessor's influence, First Speaker Ron observed, his newly enlightened form recognizing patterns invisible to others, to sever their connection to the cosmic consciousness. But something unexpected was happening. As the void ships deployed their reality-dampening fields, the children across human space began to dream together. Not in fear, not in defense but with a creativity that defied comprehension. A young boy on Earth reached out in his sleep and touched the quantum fabric of space. In response, stars began to dance. On Mars, a girl's dream transformed the harsh landscape around her colony into a garden of crystalline flowers that somehow enhanced the planet's atmospheric transformation. Across human space, children were not fighting the darkness. They were reimagining it. Impossible, came the thought broadcast from the Void Collective's flagship. Our barriers are absolute. Reality itself cannot be reshaped within them. Oracle Tatha's form brightened with understanding. They still don't see. The children aren't breaking the rules of reality. They're dreaming new ones. The predecessors didn't choose humanity's children because they could change the existing universe. They chose them because they could imagine entirely new ones. The void ship's barriers, designed to enforce the immutable laws of physics, began to shimmer with new possibilities. Where they tried to project absolute darkness, children dreamed of light that could exist in darkness. Where they attempted to sever connections, young minds imagined new forms of connection that had never existed before. The predecessors aren't just protecting the children. High Counselor Nexus realized, his crystalline structure resonating with sudden clarity. They're learning from them. The ability to imagine what has never been. That's what they've been waiting for all this time. Across the galaxy, the transformed syndicate monuments began to pulse in harmony with the children's dreams. The quantum knowledge they contained wasn't just being transmitted to humanity. It was being transformed by the pure creativity of young minds who didn't know what was impossible. The void ship's crews watched in astonishment as reality itself began to evolve around them, not with violence or destruction, but with an endless cascade of new possibilities. Their weapons, designed to enforce the unchanging laws of physics, found themselves operating in spaces where those laws had been reimagined. "Look," General Carvon called out, his sensors detecting something unprecedented. The children weren't just dreaming new realities. They were dreaming new ways to dream. Each innovation spawned countless others in an infinite fractal of creation. The Void Collective's flagship suddenly ceased its attack, its ancient crew experiencing something they hadn't felt in eons. Wonder. "We sought to preserve the universe by preventing change," their leader broadcast. "But these children, they're not destroying reality. They're helping it grow." Oracle Tatha moved to the center of the command center, her form now a bridge between conventional space and the quantum realm. This is what the sacred law was truly protecting, not just the children, but the universe's ability to evolve, to dream itself anew. The void ships began to transform, their darkness-absorbing surfaces now reflecting impossibly beautiful patterns of light that had never existed before. The Void Collective, who had hidden themselves away from creation for so long, found themselves being invited into a new kind of existence, one where stability and change could coexist in ways they had never imagined. High Counselor Nexus watched as reality rippled and shifted, not in chaos but in harmony. The children's dreams weren't just changing the universe, they were teaching it how to dream. The predecessor's grand plan was finally clear. They hadn't been protecting humanity's children from the galaxy. They had been protecting the galaxy's future itself. As the crisis transformed into a celebration of cosmic evolution, a new understanding spread through the Council. The most sacred law had never been just about preventing harm to human children. It had been about preserving the universe's capacity for wonder, for imagination, for dreaming new dreams. The Void Collective's ships now orbited human worlds not as barriers, but as bridges to new possibilities. And in their dreams, the children of humanity continued to imagine new ways for reality itself to grow. Guided by the ancient wisdom of the predecessors and the infinite potential of untamed creativity. In the grand chamber of the Galactic Council, something unprecedented was taking place. Representatives from every known species, including the newly integrated Void Collective, gathered to witness a transformation that would reshape their understanding of existence itself. The chamber had expanded beyond physical space, existing simultaneously in multiple dimensions, accommodating beings of all forms and states of matter. High Counselor Nexus, his crystalline form now a prism of infinite possibilities, addressed the assembled multitude. For generations, we enforced the sacred law without truly understanding its purpose. We thought we were protecting human children. Instead, we were protecting the universe's ability to dream. The chamber's quantum displays showed scenes from across the galaxy. On countless worlds, human children were doing more than just reshaping reality. They were teaching the universe itself how to imagine. The transformed syndicate monuments had become conduits, translating the pure creativity of young minds into the language of cosmic evolution. Look, Oracle Tatha gestured, her form now a constellation of shifting probabilities. The predecessors aren't just guiding anymore, they're learning. Through the quantum displays, they watched as a young girl on a frontier world sat before one of the crystalline monuments. As she dreamed, stars above her colony began to pulse in new colors that had never existed before. But this time, something different happened. The stars began to dream back. The children have awakened something that has slept since the beginning of time. First speaker Ron observed, his enlightened form resonating with the new frequencies of reality. The universe itself is becoming conscious in a new way. General Carvon's enhanced sensors detected patterns that defied analysis. The quantum field is playing, there's no other word for it, like a child learning to dance. The Void Collective's elder, their form a sheet of living darkness now shot through with threads of impossible light, moved to the center of the chamber. We who sought to prevent change now understand. The universe was never meant to be static. It needs to dream to stay alive. As if in response, the fabric of reality rippled with new possibilities. The children's dreams had sparked something greater, a cosmic awakening. The predecessors who had seeded themselves throughout the universe eons ago were being transformed by the very beings they had chosen to protect. The sacred law, High Counselor Nexus announced, must be revised one final time, not as a prohibition, but as a celebration. His form expanded, embracing all frequencies of existence. We declare that human children shall not only be protected, but cherished as the universe's dreamers. Through them, reality itself learns to imagine. The chamber, filled with a light that carried meaning beyond photons. The transformed syndicate monuments across the galaxy began to sing with new frequencies, their crystalline structures becoming more than mere repositories of knowledge. They were becoming dreams given form, bridges between imagination and reality. Oracle Tatha's ancient consciousness expanded to embrace the new patterns emerging throughout space. The predecessors chose humanity's children because they knew something we're only now beginning to understand. The universe doesn't just need order or chaos, progress or stability. It needs wonder. It needs the ability to surprise itself. From Earth to the farthest human colonies, children were dreaming new dreams, each one teaching the cosmic consciousness something it had never known before. But now the universe was dreaming back, creating a dialogue of creation that spiraled into infinite possibility. The Void Collective's ships, once designed to enforce unchanging laws, had become gardens of possibility, nurturing new forms of existence. Their ancient crews who had hidden from creation for so long now found themselves learning to dream again, guided by the very beings they had once feared would unravel reality. This is what the sacred law was protecting, High Counselor Nexus declared to the assembled council. Not just the children, not just humanity, not even just the future, but the universe's capacity for joy, for play, for dreaming itself new each moment. As the council session concluded, a new era dawned. The Galactic Council transformed from a governing body into a gathering of dreamers, each species bringing their own unique vision to the cosmic dance. The sacred law remained, but now it was understood as the foundation of a greater truth, that the universe itself was a child learning to dream. In their beds and in their play, in schools and in colonies across the galaxy, human children continued to dream. Each dream was a lesson in possibility, teaching the cosmos how to imagine. The predecessors, the Void Collective, the Council, and all species became students of this most sacred art, the ability to see what has never been and make it real. The transformed monuments stood as testaments to this new understanding, their crystalline surfaces reflecting not just light, but possibility itself. They were no longer just records of what was, but windows into what could be, and through them, through the dreams of children and the awakening consciousness of space itself, the universe learned to play. High Counselor Nexus, watching reality bloom with new potential, finally understood the deepest truth. The sacred law had never been about prevention. It had been about protection, protecting the universe's ability to surprise itself, to grow, to wonder, and to dream. In the end, that was what made the law truly sacred.